Welcome to From This Day Forward, a wedding industry podcast. My name's James Clark, your host and wedding photographer behind Just James Weddings. This is a space for real conversations with couples, photographers and wedding suppliers, exploring what truly matters on a wedding day and how meaningful images can be created. Without further ado, let's jump on into the next episode. Hey, welcome back to From This Day Forward, the wedding industry podcast. This is take 2 of this. And I also told a bit of a white lie in that last week when I recorded, I said that I had Liana Biggs on the show, but with my recordings happening on Mondays and Wednesdays, I forgot about a lovely couple that have come onto the show today. And again, it's my first couple on the podcast. And so I'd like to formally welcome to the podcast, again, take 2, for reasons I will not explain, Tilly and Lewis to the show. So welcome, guys.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Absolute pleasure. Oh, God. I should not have recorded this a day after a wedding because maybe I will mention that I actually forgot to press the record button. So we have probably wasted 15 minutes of good, valuable content, but at least we know what we're starting with, right?
Yeah.
Oh, dear. So, guys, thank you very much for coming on. I said, I think in take 1 that you guys were the first wedding of last year. So thank you very much for coming on. And you are the very first couple on the show. So welcome. I mentioned in take 1 that you were the first wedding of last year. This year I've already done 4. So a lot of people have moved in much more earlier, it seems. And then the second wedding I had last year was April 19th. So when we get round to April 19th this year, I think I'd have done like a dozen weddings, which is crazy. So, welcome along, guys. And I know I mentioned it last time that we might have an additional guest on the show at some point, and hopefully a bit of a hanger for you to that are listening to kind of maybe wait for that extra special guest. But yeah, thanks for coming on, guys. And let's try and remember what we talked about.
We were in a good little flow, but we
were, weren't we? Oh my lordy. Anyway, let's talk about your wedding, and let's talk about why you chose, because you had a March wedding, right? Let's talk about why you went with March.
So yeah, it's almost a year ago now, wasn't it? So we were saying that we're coming up to our first year anniversary, which is obviously pretty special. It's gone really quickly.
Where are you going? Dorset for your anniversary?
Yes, going to a house in Dorset. So just staying over for the weekend. It wasn't initially planned for the anniversary, but just gives us a reason to celebrate. And you were saying about your reasons for...
Yeah, so we did look at, we originally wanted sort of May, June time for our wedding, but we chose our venue. We looked at lots, but we had our heart set on our venue, and they had a cancellation date come through for March the 1st, which was my granddad's birthday. So it just felt really special. It felt right. And then we just thought, let's go for it. Let's do it. And also, if you have a wedding in the summer, you can't guarantee the weather. So we didn't have any expectations in terms of whether we would kind of prep for every eventuality. But we were just super, super lucky that actually it was a really sunny day anyway. So we got best of both worlds. So that was kind of our process of booking a March wedding, really.
It was really important for us to be a Saturday as well. So like at the lakes, I think they do weddings every other day. So it's like a day in between, and the Saturday was really important for us, so people didn't have to worry about work and they didn't have to worry about taking holiday or annual leave. So it just all seemed to fit together quite nicely, really.
It's cool that you mentioned that the venue doesn't have... Oh, we should actually say what the venue actually is to start with, shouldn't we? So you got married at Quantock Lakes, right? Quantock Lakes, right?
Yes.
And that was based in Neverstowe in Somerset, right? Bit of a mission to get to if you're coming from like the mid Somerset area of Glastonbury. It feels just getting the other side of Bridgewater is a bit of a nightmare. But really cool that you mentioned, because there's obviously a lot of venues out there that people can choose from. But it's really cool that you mentioned that your venue, Quantock Lakes, doesn't do weddings every other day, or every day, sorry. So it does a wedding every other day, which is quite cool to know, because actually, like, how did that actually make you feel?
Yeah, I think it was quite important to us, and
Yeah,
one of their main selling points, because it's not like that conveyor belt wedding style where as you're turning up, you've got guests from the previous wedding leaving.
yeah,
It just allowed to make the whole experience much more special.
yeah,
And obviously it is a day, but it makes it more of an experience of
yeah.
like the day before, the day of, and then even a little bit the day after as well, because you get to go in and have breakfast all together as a family. So it just made it so much more special, and it was quite important to us to have that.
Yeah, and it meant that we had the whole day before, so we could go in. I think we went in at like 9 o'clock in the morning the day before, and did all our prep, like put all our decorations up, sorted out the tables how we wanted them. So by the time kind of we were able to check into our farmhouse, which is where we were staying the night before, we had done everything that we wanted to do. So it just felt really special that the staff were also able to put all of their kind of support and energy into the day before with us as well.
I like the part where you mentioned about the day after too, because a lot of people are like pressured into like leaving at a certain point. And I know from Quantock Lakes, it's got like hot tubs and stuff. So we're able to use all those facilities without like feeling pressured to leave.
Yeah, absolutely. So the night before, so we had the farmhouse as part of our package. And it's like this luxury house that I think there's like 18 of us stayed, something like that. So we had all of our we had all of our nearest and dearest all in a house together, and we had a meal the night before. Got to use the hot tubs. They got like little games for the kids to play with as well. So it was a really great experience. Allowed us all just to be together the night before. Like I said, making a proper experience of it rather than just turning up on the day. And then there was like little place for me to stay as well, wasn't there? So you stayed in the house and with your bridesmaids, and then I stayed in like this little it's called Posh Piggery, isn't it?
Posh Piggery,
it's got like it's like its own little like living area, isn't it? Like with bathroom, toilet, and like living area. But so it was just really special that we could have that experience.
Yeah, and then obviously the day after the wedding, we were able to wake up in the house, all our family and friends there still, and then we have a breakfast just across the road in their restaurant, and it's just exclusive use for the wedding party. So they put on a big spread for breakfast, which was really nice because everyone was like able to debrief and see who was the most hungover and share photos. And then there was no rush to get out of the house at all, really, was there? But it was really special.
I think the staff there, they're just so keen on making it such an amazing experience. Like we had someone that would drop a glass and it would shatter everywhere, and they just come out like there was nothing was too big of an issue for them.
No, it wasn't you.
Nothing was just too big of an issue for them. They just come out, sort it, and it would be done. And they were just really amazing.
They're just like all the really small little touches that you don't know that you're going to have. Like when we went up to after the wedding had finished, we went out to our room, and like some of our wedding cake had been cut up, and there was prosecco and glasses and like just a little treat for us. And there's lots of little things that you don't know that they're going to do that they do. So that as well just felt like it was really lovely.
No complaints at all.
No.
That's good, because
we probably wouldn't say if there was.
If they're listening. As I mentioned in take one, I said we're not here to slag anyone off, so it's good. I have a confession to make about your wedding, because when I went to the Posh Piggery for the first time, I legged it across, thinking about the time, and one of my, my little strap that I had, my little camera strap, one of the cameras came off the strap. Obviously, I hadn't tightened it, so it fell on the floor, and then luckily, it's like a lens hood like this took the brunt of the landing and just smashed, whereas everything else was absolutely fine. So that's the dedication I had to getting across to the Posh Piggery. Lesson learned.
That does bring me to what it was. You're a credit to have there, not only from a photography point of view, but like I think our flowers were somewhere, and I think you were like willing to go off and find. So you just helped with the whole running of the day, not like just taking photos.
Stuff that you definitely didn't need to do, you actually did, which was amazing.
Don't, guys. My head won't fit through the door.
And you know what I also loved? I don't know if you looked into this as much as I did, but the like lead up to the wedding, when you'd send out those like lists of things that you thought about this or you thought about that. And I used to find that so helpful because there were things on there that I hadn't thought about, which was really, really nice.
I do get maybe not as useful for me.
No, most of it's for the bride. All of it's for the bride, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's little things like, because the only thing, because obviously your weather was like fantastic, and obviously the weather this year so far has been a bit meh. But the only thing I think with your wedding is that there was some debate where to have your group photos, and so obviously we ventured out on the grass later in the day, didn't we? But some of it was like absolutely sodden. So I think we did it much nearer to the venue. But yeah, like even bits like a little bit of advice, like putting heel stoppers on the bottom of your shoes. Like that would have been, I don't know if you had them on the day, but I go to weddings sometimes and the bride's like on the grass and she's not like disappearing in her heels. And then her guests are, and they're like, "Oh, look at me! Like I've got these heel stoppers, and that's from James's email." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, well, you know, don't." But it's just little things like that. I think I said we're not here to boost any egos, but it's just nice. I think coming from a coaching background, and you're pretty much in. You're in that space as well. Are you coaching, or are you like physiotherapy, or you do a lot of rugby, don't you? So you know how it works. But you just want to give everybody the best experience possible. So yeah, it's quite nice to be able to give that advice.
Yeah,
we definitely felt that from you.
You definitely added to the day, much more than taking our photos. So we are very grateful for that.
I think it's just one of those things. I think it's really important to stress that to couples actually that wedding photographers are there all day. Well, it depends on what package you go for, but wedding photographers are there pretty much all day. So you want, I don't know if you felt it, but you want someone there that you can, obviously you would have seen me or heard about me from like a previous wedding anyway, but it's just knowing that you've got someone there that you can like trust, not just to be around you, but like your family, your friends, all that kind of stuff. Did you kind of feel that was an important thing to decide? Even if it wasn't me, would that have been an important decision to make?
Oh yeah, it was huge. And actually you did do that because I obviously didn't know at the time, but I know now that like my dad pulled you to one side and said, I've got a bit of a surprise in my speech. I'm going to do you a song and like I need you there at this point and things like that. And I just knew that we'd obviously spoken several times before the wedding and the lead up that I knew that you would be able to do that, and you definitely did pull through because like you were in the spot at every point. And actually, there were so many things that we didn't even see on the day because it's so busy that we look back through our photos and we're like, oh, I didn't even notice that happened. But you've just seemed to like have captured everything. You must have been everywhere.
It's quite hard though to kind of like be able to capture everything. You can't be everywhere, especially if you're working by yourself. You can't be everywhere at the right time. So there are like times maybe where couples might go, oh, did you get this? And I'm like, well, it's impossible.
I can't.
Yeah, it's impossible. But yeah, your dad was funny though, because even like later in the day, he was like, do you mind getting a picture? I think it was one of his friends or something like that. I can't remember.
Oh,
I think that made your album. But yeah.
I expect so, yeah.
It was, I think when we were first looking, we had friends, didn't we, that had used you, James. So I think that's where we first noticed, didn't we? And then I think we had a few calls. So, started to build that relationship from there. And you're absolutely right. You've got to be able to have a relationship or build a bit of rapport with your photographer. And I think we did that previous to the actual wedding itself. So it just made the whole day much better because we could just trust you, really. Trust that you would do your job. We can see that from your work, it was really good stuff. And yeah, I think we just had 100% faith in your job, because I've got friends that have had weddings and the photographers then lost all of their photos.
Oh, really?
And like, we just didn't have any of that worry with yourself.
How did that happen?
I've got no idea.
No idea.
Know. But when he told me that, I thought, I wish you hadn't told me. But I did trust you, so we didn't need to.
When did he tell you? Like the day before or something like that?
Yeah, it was quite close to the wedding, and I thought that's not helpful. Great. But I trust James; it's okay.
Yeah,
it is important to, like, I think when you mentioned like phone calls pre-wedding and stuff like that. It is important for couples to not just only like just go ahead and book with a photographer, because there's a lot of questions that you might want to ask. And that's probably quite an important question to ask, like what happens if this happens or whatever. So for example, if that photographer had lost the images, like what's your backup process to getting your images safe? So like that's always quite an important question to, I think, couples. If there's one thing that you can take away from today's episode, just ask questions. Get on area. Oh, we haven't actually. Oh yeah, we did mention, didn't we, about the dog?
Sorry.
Sorry, we'll go get him. So
but yeah, we did. It's quite an important question to ask, I think, and just for couples to actually get on the phone to your suppliers and chat with them and get all those kind of like anxieties out the way in terms of if you have had that question or someone say like, oh, photographer lost everything, blah blah blah. It's quite an important one to ask, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, you mentioned as well like recommendations from previous or having seen stuff from before, and it's quite cool because now obviously you're like in I call it the recommendation hype train. So I put a post out about it a while ago, and I won't get the name wrong this time, and it's been quite lucky that we've been able to have this second recording because hopefully I'll get it right. So you were like fourth or fifth in succession of like a line of like people that I've worked with, and it's really cool to see like couples that I've worked with that are then at future weddings. So then obviously we had Jesse and Jay's wedding, and then we got Nisha and Jack's wedding this September. All right, so we got it right. So it's really cool to see that, and actually like obviously I saw you guys at Jesse and Jay's, and I think we said, is it really hard to like compare your venue to other venues that you see?
Yeah, it's a difficult one because when you're at somewhere, you might unconsciously think like, oh, ours had this or this place has got this, but I think our wedding was right for us. That's what the main thing. Like, what was important to us, our venue had that. And you go to someone else's wedding, like Jesse and Jay's wedding, that was lovely, wasn't it? And it had everything there that they wanted.
Yeah.
So it's about picking your venue, which is got what's important to you, I suppose. It's difficult, not you don't need to compare, do you? It's just about knowing what you want.
And we did look at a lot of venues, and I don't know if that's the right way to do it or not, but we looked at a lot.
Yep.
And because the Quantock Lakes was the first one we went to, we were always comparing.
Yeah.
And nothing did compare, but we were also looking at so many other places to try and make other ones work. And actually it got to a point where we were like, nothing's going to beat it for us. This offers everything we want. So let's just go for it.
Did you have family that were coming from afar, or was everyone like quite local?
We had one family. I've got family in France that came down, but generally most people were fairly local.
Okay.
But they obviously.
Sorry, go ahead.
The Lakes offered they have accommodation there as well, which meant that we had some people coming from like Devon, Cornwall way, so they could all stay. They could all stay, couldn't they? Which was really nice. But a lot of people that were local actually stayed anyway, because I think they were like, actually, we don't need to worry about getting a taxi home or whatever, and then we could all have breakfast together. So quite a lot of people did stay, didn't they?
Yeah, that is a good thing about the venue, is they have lots of accommodation for people to stay.
Yeah, that is quite a big factor, because obviously a lot of people don't live near where their families are these days, and it's one thing that's kind of overlooked quite a bit, I think, when people choose venues, is like having accommodation on site, and not every venue can offer it. I think a lot of barn weddings can't quite often offer it, but some do. But it's one of those things that, like, even like transport, I feel like, did you have a lot of people that were like requesting taxis or anything at the end of the night or whatever? Because that's one thing that gets overlooked quite a bit, is like, how does the evening end? Where does people go?
I will be honest, I don't know. It's almost one of those things we didn't need to worry about at that point. But in terms of getting from the church to the venue, it was right next to each other. So a lot of people had their cars and they would just drive right across, and shared lifts, but it was pretty much in walking distance, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But the end of the night, I suppose there would have been people getting taxis from Bridgewater and stuff, wouldn't there?
But again, they would have been people that were local. Most of the people that weren't local stayed anyway, so they would have kind of, I guess, got that arranged beforehand.
Yeah.
Let's talk about each, because like church weddings, I feel are being used less and less, not in a bad way, but what made you decide to like go for a church wedding?
It was actually a bit of a no-brainer for us. We didn't even need to discuss it because it was something that Lewis, you always wanted and I always wanted. I really am quite keen on the traditional wedding, and I went to a Christian school, so getting married in a church was quite important for me and my family. And my family have all been married in churches, so for me that was really important, and I think you were the same, weren't you?
Yeah, I don't think we were looking anywhere else, were we? It was like, this is what we're gonna do almost.
Yeah.
And I think it's quite nice when you're having the whole day, obviously at a venue, you can kind of separate the two. So it was nice because we had the church, and the church for us felt really special because it was maybe a bit longer. And then we had the whole like big grand reveal of our beautiful venue. So people hadn't seen that because quite a lot of the time people are milling around at a venue before you go into the ceremony. So for us, that felt quite nice to have the two separate areas.
Yeah, but you can though. Sorry, James, you can get married at the lakes if you want to, and there's different places that you can do it. Like if it's a summer wedding, you can do it outside, or I think there's this other barn that you can do it inside if it's raining. But you know, again, they're just so good at accommodating what you want there.
I was going to say, because they obviously do offer weddings, or the ability to do weddings at the venue. Like how do they obviously they're not going to say like no, but like how do they feel when you said, oh, we're going to use the church down the road? Like
absolutely fine. They didn't question it at all.
They were really happy to accommodate that,
and I think it's even nicer because it was the local church, wasn't it, who got married. No issues from them at all. They just accommodated whatever we wanted.
They were very good.
Nice. I just don't know whether some venues would like see it as a problem, if you see what I mean. Like you're not using our site.
Yeah.
I suppose it's less work for them in a way, really.
It is less work for them, but then some venues might see it as like you might not be able to bring in as much income maybe for like drink sales before or something like that. So that's kind of why I was asking it, because some venues might see it as a bit of like, oh no, you need to have our venue all day, if that makes sense. So
I wonder as well, because we knew from day one that was what we wanted. It wasn't really a conversation that we even had, but from our experience with the conversations we did have with Quantock Lakes, they were absolutely fine about it.
It just seemed that they had our interest. I do come across like I'm bigging it up, but I am, because it really was the best day of my life. Like they didn't come across that it was a business priority. Their priority was about making us happy, and like even from like a bar point of view, asking us like what sort of people would be there. And when I said like a lot of my rugby mates would be there, they'd be like, right, we'll put someone else on the bar,
get more beer in.
So and it's not from a business point of view, it's just so that us and the guests had a good time.
That's good.
That's
good. Did anything like go wrong at all in the day? Do you know? They probably wouldn't have told you, I'd imagine. But or anything like from a supplier point of view that didn't happen quite as...
I don't think we had anything with our suppliers. The only thing that we did have was some of our guests couldn't come last minute.
Okay.
So again, we had nothing to do with it on the day, because the staff just were like, right, that's fine, and they had to do a bit of a rearrange of the table, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they put together like a little package for the people that couldn't come, so we could give that to them after. But we didn't know that until the day after.
So like we didn't have to worry about rearranging the table, like they did it automatically. And again, to get that little package that I could give the people that couldn't come was really special. But
what did they do there? Sorry, they did a little package, did you say?
Yeah, so they like little box had like their table, like their name on, because it was my grandparents that couldn't come last minute, which is obviously really sad. But so yeah, they made like a box, and it had their name places in. Did it have some cake in it as well?
Like their little, we had those napkins that you put around, fly around. They put those in there for them.
Yeah.
And their buttonholes were put in there as well, so they had those to keep.
Nice.
So we could give that to them a couple of days after cooking, which was really nice. I don't think we had any problems or issues with any of our suppliers, and I think a lot of that is because we were really conscious when we were booking with suppliers like yourself that we wanted to build that relationship with them, so we knew that everything was going to be smooth and fine. And everyone was really local as well, weren't they? So we didn't have anyone coming from particularly too far. So yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, I don't know if there might have been things that we don't know about, but
the only thing that was a little bit, sorry, 2 seconds.
He's making an appearance. Come on.
he's making an appearance.
Hey.
See you.
He so the only thing that was a little bit maybe not as organized as we like is the flowers, wasn't it? We didn't know where they were, and then that's when you came in, you brought them over to. We just maybe didn't plan it as well.
I don't think that was a supplier issue though. Bless her.
No, it wasn't a supplier issue. No, she put them all where she was supposed to put.
Yeah.
And
it
you
was
had
the
no idea.
organisation from me that was the issue.
I think it was the groomsmen problem.
Groomsmen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Make sure you have good
we were
groomsmen.
yeah we were trying to run around and get that sorted, I think, and that's when I think you came in and you brought the flowers or buttonholes to
Saved the
someone
day.
where they needed to go. I can't remember now, but yeah, I just remember you being.
I think
really
it was
useful.
buttonholes, I seem to remember.
Yeah.
That's when I
because
did
we
my
had
running
all of
job and
ours. We
broke my
had our
camera.
bouquets. It was
Yeah.
guys.
No, I definitely do want to stress it was not a supplier issue. Everyone who just did an amazing job, didn't they? Not a single complaint about anyone.
No.
I think that's what happened, actually. I think I was taking the buttonholes over to you, knowing that I had to be back with Tilly.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you broke your camera.
Because I had stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
So technically it was our fault.
Yeah.
So these are cheap and plastic, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It was cheap to replace. Luckily, nothing else broke. But no, that's good to know. Would you have done anything different though, from like a supplier point of view? Would you have like booked anything extra or anything you like thought the day after, or seen at other weddings that you're like, actually, we should probably maybe have done that?
I mean, you see a lot of people now, a lot of weddings, they have like videographers and stuff. I still don't know if that was an essential thing to me.
We didn't have a videographer.
No.
Sometimes I think back and I think, oh, that would have been quite nice. But the thing is, our guests and family took so many videos that actually we have all of that.
Yep.
And I think for me personally, if I had had a videographer around, I think I would have been on edge all day. Like, don't want to be bloated after dinner and, But yeah, I don't know. Again, it's personal preference. But for us, I think my preference was to not only... Yeah, I think it just took the pressure off of a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if we did it again, I don't think I still would stick with what we have. There's one thing that I would do differently, James.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying this because you're on the call. I would probably have had a seat for you in the actual thing for our meal.
Yeah, I would have loved
That's
that.
what I've done. Thinking back, like, I think that would have made it that little bit more special. Having you like properly integrated as one of the guests almost. But that's the only thing I would have done differently.
So,
and we had, sorry.
No, you go ahead because you're mid-flow.
We had so many people after the wedding say, oh my God, your photographer was amazing. And just like such a nice guy, where they were like genuinely would have loved to be part of that.
No idea. Okay, forget me. No, it's lovely. I mean, it's a catch-22. When you go and sit at a table, then you're like interacting with guests and stuff, which is cool, which helps for the evening and stuff like that. But then you don't really get a chance to like relax and stuff. Whereas I was like in the bar and people were still coming past and chatting to me and stuff like that. And I was still technically working because I was doing like your little Polaroid things.
Yeah, that was lovely.
But like in terms of like the videographer and stuff, so it was like a conscious thing. Like you didn't really feel like you needed it. It wasn't like a budget thing or anything like that. Because a lot of people, when it comes to booking suppliers, a lot of it comes down to budget.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a budget thing for you, then. It was just more of a conscious like.
It probably started off at a budget thing of like you can see that. I mean, I don't know, but I can remember it being a bit more expensive, and then we were thinking, do we need that or do we want that? Because at the end of the day, it's a very special time, and it's okay to break the budget for that one time, and whatever budget you have, you'll definitely go over it. I don't think, like, thinking back to it, I don't think it was purely a budget thing. I think it was more so of like, what do we actually want? And for us, it was that we'd have special moments being captured, but we didn't necessarily need or want the whole day videoed.
And also, just on another note, in case other couples listen, if you get married in a church, you have to pay a fee to have a videographer in there. So
Oh, really?
I think it was like £800 or £900 for the church to have a license to have the videographer there. So that's obviously on top of the cost of having one.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that
Wow.
was so I don't know if it's like a standard thing, but I know for our church in particular, they had to buy a license if we wanted one, which was, I think it was £800 or £900. I can't remember exactly, but I remember thinking that's a lot of money.
I mean, imagine
Yeah.
some churches might already have that in place, I'd imagine, but
Yeah.
so maybe not affecting everybody, but
Yeah.
that's interesting. So good thing to maybe check before booking
Yeah,
if you're going for a
'cause
church.
it's quite a
just
big,
to book,
if they don't have that license, it's quite a big cost.
that
So
is a
yeah,
huge cost.
yeah,
It's like almost another. You might as well get a content creator for
yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Was there any other like hidden costs at all that you weren't expecting for your wedding day? Do you know? Because that would have been a huge one. Like that's mad.
I don't think there wasn't from the venue, was there?
No.
Because
That's
we
good.
had to put like I'm pretty sure we had to put like a damage waiver down, didn't we? And there was people breaking glasses and stuff, and we were quite fortunate to get all of our damage waiver back. That's what I mean. They were just
That's good.
There is one thing actually that we did do that not everybody will do, but we did for safety purposes, is we got an insurance.
Yeah.
yes.
I don't know how much it was exactly, but I think it was like £100 to £200.
Yep.
And we did that, and it literally covered everything. Even if, say, like a family member had become poorly and we weren't able to go ahead with the wedding, it covered everything.
Yep.
And for us, it was just, you're paying out a lot of money,
Yep.
and it feels quite scary. So for us, it was nice to know that we were covered in that sense. And it's not a necessity, but for us it was.
Yeah,
So-
I can't remember how much it was, but for the sake of like £100, £200,
Yeah.
you get to not have all that worry of something going wrong last minute.
Wrong, because it is a huge expense. It's in the thousands. It was like tens of
Yeah.
thousands. I can't remember where I read it, but I think only like 30% of people actually take out wedding insurance.
Well, we didn't actually know anything about it until one of our friends said about it. I'm like, that's a really good idea.
Oh, we were the same. We even like married like 8-9 years this year. Make sure you know this, Lewis. Make sure you know this. You get in trouble otherwise. And the day, although you should remember it. But yeah, it's one of those things we didn't even know about as well for our wedding. Like, and then we got told about it, did it, and you just never know. Like, I could have cancelled or something like that. Flowers might not have been delivered. It covers you for everything. So if you're listening, couples, have a look at wedding insurance, because like you said,
Highly
Lewis, for
recommend.
100 200 quid, if you're spending 10 20 30 grand on a wedding, it's nothing really, is it?
Exactly. And it's just that security, isn't it?
Mm.
There you go. I think that's a big point too. You guys made that.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any other hidden costs though.
No, I think for a lot of people, like there is some venues that add on extras, like corkage fees for drinks and stuff like that. It's just little things that. So it's like, that's really good to know from your venue's perspective that there wasn't any hidden costs, because I think that's really important for couples to look into. Like, even from like my packages, for example, a lot of people like ask, do you like add anything extra for travel and stuff like that? And I'm like, no, it's all included in the price. So that's good to know that venues, especially your venue, like do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they were really on it with supporting of suppliers as well. So like when we were going through their numbers, they would then talk about like
Recommended suppliers.
Recommended suppliers. Yeah. So they were really good.
It's a hard venue to get into as a photographer too.
Oh, we need James on it.
Maybe this podcast will help.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So I suppose if it's a question I was going to ask anyway, but like, if you did your wedding again, what would you have done differently? It's a very big question.
I'm going to just give a really boring answer, and genuinely hand on heart, I would have done nothing, because even now when I think back to it, I'm so happy. It was just, I mean, for some people there would have been things that we did that they would have done differently or didn't like, but for me personally, there was absolutely nothing I would have changed.
Yeah.
No. Could probably agree with that. Other than obviously, like I said, probably maybe have you sitting at the table. But other than that, I don't think I would have. I tell you what, one thing that actually did go wrong. I'm thinking now. My suits that I ordered.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
One of them was a completely different suit, and we only realised on the day.
I think you mentioned this.
Yeah,
Different colour,
it
wasn't
was like a completely different colour. Well, it was still blue, but all my suits were like a
navy.
navy-ish, but this one was like a light blue almost.
Interesting.
And the buttons on your waistcoat, some of the buttons were different.
Buttons were all different, yeah. So some were like brown, some were white, weren't they?
Did you rent them?
Did rent them, yeah.
Okay.
But I think because everybody picked theirs up individually, like tried it on, that fits, it's great. No one, they weren't actually together as a group before the wedding, so nobody knew that they weren't right. And it wasn't until the day that they picked up on it on the day, and we were like, well, it's too late now.
But we were good in the sense that everyone tried them on before, so they fit. Because we've been to weddings before where they've tried them on the morning of and realised that they're not the right size. So
I did that for my sister's wedding. I bought this suit for my sister's wedding, then trained for an Ironman. And then I didn't try it on until I got there, and it was a destination wedding, so we were in Italy.
Oh no.
I tried on my trousers and they were like circus pants basically because I'd lost so much weight. And then the other thing that happened at my sister's wedding was my shoes fell apart.
Oh no.
I just tried on these like brown shoes I had from like university days. I hadn't worn them in years, and also it was slightly hotter on the day and the soles fell off.
So all great success all round then, really.
Yeah, so like it's important to probably think from a couple's point of view, if you're listening, and grooms in particular, then just make sure you probably don't leave it until the day.
Yeah.
Because
definitely try them on before.
Yeah.
Because I didn't take a belt either. So I was like, I don't know, I can't remember what I did in the end, but I still wore the same suit, but it was just very baggy.
You made it work.
It was very baggy. Yeah, I just got this. I think a photographer got the picture of me just holding the shoe with the sole like hanging off. I don't know what I'm doing here with my hands,
brilliant.
but yeah, the sole was hanging off, and then just me pulling a face. So
You made a good picture at least.
yeah, I mean, I was at a wedding yesterday as well, and one of the groomsmen had different colour shoes on, and no one really noticed, to be fair. But I think it was a question that he then rung up the bride and just like, is it all right to wear brown shoes? So he was like, are you really going to wear it? And so like, but then no one really noticed, it doesn't matter. But yeah.
And we weren't precious about that kind of stuff, were we? Like, it is what it is.
People didn't notice that the suits until, well, there was one suit that was wrong until like almost halfway through, did they? So
a few Prosecco's deep at that point, so it
was fine. But I still wouldn't necessarily change who I'd went with, because I went with, I'm going to say we went with Moss Bros, and they've got like they're obviously quite a big chain, and I had one of the groomsmen lives in like Aylesbury region, and obviously because it's a chain, he could try his suits on up in that area, and so it just made it all so much easier. So I'd still stick with them. I would just be maybe a bit mindful that they're all the same suit. I would check them all first.
What if budget wasn't an issue? What would you have done differently, do you reckon? Would you have gone for a different venue or spent more on certain areas?
Ooh, I would have still had the same venue, I think.
Would we have done the because they got the other place, haven't they?
Yes, the granary.
Granary, that's it.
They've got another massive house there, haven't they?
Yeah, so if budget was an issue, maybe would have had that as well, and that's got like a swimming pool and everything in. So
we could have had more people then.
More people stay in.
All right. Well, flip side then, what would you have spent less on? Do you think?
Oh, that's a good one.
Or could you have spent less on?
Ooh. I probably could have spent less on my dress, but I fell in love with it, and that wasn't happening.
I think that's a non-negotiable there, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Less on.
What could we have spent less on?
You were pretty good, like with all like the invites and all that. It was all.
Yeah, we did a lot of stuff where I made it, and
that's good.
Spent evenings with my mum doing it, and actually I really enjoyed that process as well, though.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to maybe cut a bit of cost, do with like making things ourselves. And that for me, I really enjoyed doing. So
I don't think there was anything that we've really like put loads of money in, and we were thinking like we don't really need this, but so I
that's a really
on that.
It's a good question.
boring answer.
It's a rubbish question, but it's interesting at the same time, because actually a lot of people do like DIY stuff now for their weddings. Like table decoration is quite a big one. Signage is quite a big one, because you can do a lot on Canva and stuff like that for free. So it's quite an interesting one, because a lot of people just go all out, don't know, for weddings, and but actually there's some areas where you could spend less. So it's it's good that you did like DIY anyway, because I didn't even know it was that good.
Oh, that's good.
It's like wedding was like yesterday. They had like Lego for their place like decoration.
Oh,
so that was quite cool. So they had they were into their Formula One, so they had like Formula One Lego cars.
Oh, nice.
That's good. Nice and personalised.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I wouldn't know. You should start up a business, Tilly.
It was like the invite. It was also the guest. The table plan, wasn't it? That
the
was
board, with the table
done by us.
And we had like really lovely family friends that wanted to make our guest book and stuff like that. So
nice.
that was someone's just put a letter through the door. That's why he's
set the dog off.
So we were fortunate in that respect.
That's good. Talking from a photography point of view, how did you feel pre-wedding in terms of actually being in front of the camera?
It's not my jam personally, which is that is a whole reason we went with you though, is because I didn't want to do the whole like, obviously there are some pictures where we've got to do a bit of a pose and but I wanted it all to be very, very natural, because it's not my jam. So for me, there wasn't any awkwardness, because we'd obviously met you several times before, but as well you just made it really not uncomfortable, not awkward. It was just very natural. You gave us a little bit of guidance, which was obviously really helpful for Lewis and I, because it's not really something we do. But by the end of the wedding, I was like, I don't mind anymore. Take all the photos.
So sometimes with the photographer, in a way, you almost want them there, that like they just kind of. I'm trying to word this in a nice way. Sorry,
not in your face.
In the sense, like they're there and they're doing their job, but they're not in your face and taking like your attention away from just enjoying the day. And I think that's really important with a photographer, is that they're there in the background almost. You know what I mean? In the sense that they're doing their job, getting everything they need to do, without being too needy in a way of like, oh, can you come over here and do this, and dragging you away constantly. So it's about trying to find someone who does that, and I think you were really good at that.
How do you
we didn't like notice you in the church, and then obviously we slipped away for the photos in between courses of meals, didn't we? Because the lighting and stuff. So nobody even knew that we'd gone, and that was really big for us. We didn't want people to be like, oh, where are they? You know. So
I think
was really good.
I think some people noticed that you'd gone, because they were cheering you on, weren't they?
Oh yeah, we did have a couple of cheers.
We didn't get revenge, did we? Jay's wedding, because that was Jay, wasn't it? Jay was.
Yeah, I did say to him I was going to, but I didn't. And chucking confetti in his face as well. That's what he did to me.
Yeah, he did do that to you.
Did you do it to him then?
I didn't. No, I was on the wrong side. I was on Jesse's side, so I couldn't.
Slam dunk. And what do you rate Lewis's photography out of 10?
Oh,
he took some photos of you, didn't he?
That was really good. Really good. And that was also really fun, because it just like added just a bit of fun for us. And I was obviously laughing, so the pictures actually were quite nice. Like, you did actually a really good job.
Yeah.
I do. I say this to couples quite a bit. If they've done a really good job, though, to be fair, like the groom for the first one this year, like taken some really nice photos of his wife. So it was like, by the way, your husband takes a good photo. But then I was hoping I wasn't going to get a question back like, what about my photography?
I think when I first got the camera and I took a photo of it, didn't I? I was like, am I now your sous photographer?
Yes.
My second photographer. So that's something that some couples have gone for recently, as a second photographer. Did you feel like you needed that at all? Like as a different perspective, or someone to hang around whilst we were away, or that kind of stuff?
I can understand why people do do that
Yeah.
because you can't physically be in every single place at the time, and obviously if there's a lot of guests, then totally understand. But I think there's nothing in our photos when we've looked back where we think, oh, that was missed, or what was going on then. So I don't think we needed it. But I can understand why people do, especially if they've got really big numbers of guests.
I don't think we would.
No.
Like, if we were to do it again, I wouldn't get one, for example. I think what we did was plenty.
Yeah, so obviously thinking of Jesse and Jay's wedding where you were at as well, and it was so cool seeing you there as well. I don't know, when I was in the ceremony space, you know, like pre Jesse coming in, I was like looking all over for you guys. I was like looking at every aisle, and I think at my blinker, I was just maybe looking too fast. I was like, where are they? We
were in a bit of a corner, weren't we? Actually?
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's obviously they had a lot of guests there, didn't they? And I did say to him, like, and it took a while for him to actually just go, screw it, we'll do it. So they had a second photographer, and I think it helped them definitely because they got to see some photos of groom prep. And you're probably thinking about did you ever see the bridal prep space at Upton Bun? Because that's
no,
crazy.
I don't think I did.
I mean, actually, to be fair, Quantock Lakes has got a really good bridal prep space too. But something for brides to consider when they're doing bridal prep is to have a nice, airy, light space, because there's so many venues that don't. But anyway, it's going back to second photographer. I feel like they benefited from having one, whereas I think your guest size was about right for sticking with just one. But yeah, sometimes it's a budget thing. Sometimes it's a need based on numbers, or we've got different venues, or a location where you can't get to a certain bit unless you move, and they won't allow you to move, all this kind of stuff. So it just depends on wedding to wedding, I think. But I'm going to ask you another question here. So, because I think it's really important for couples to maybe get an understanding of when they're planning their wedding and stuff like that. Some people go off of like what other people think that they should do. Did you ever have that feeling at all? Like, from a lot of parents do it, I feel. But like, what actually mattered most to you, I think, for your wedding day? What did you want to get the most out of it? Obviously getting married, of course, but
I think like when you're in the process of planning your wedding, you're constantly like, you're not worried, but you're like, oh, I don't want to upset this person, or we should do it like this because of this. And you can end up just going round and round and round in circles trying to please other people. And I think at the heart of it, what's really important is, what do you want? Like, what do you want in your wedding? And it's got to come back to that. And, you know, your nearest and dearest, they'll understand that, you know, it's about your day. And I think that's the most important thing is do what you want to do. Try not to worry about all these other things, although they are important to consider. But at the heart of it, you've got to do what you want to do.
Yeah, and I think the like most important thing for us was the having it on a Saturday so that everybody could be there, having it in a place that was accessible, accommodation, all of that kind of thing, so that the people being there was the most important thing for us. And also good music. We wanted some good music, so that was obviously why we went with Levi and the Bean, which is a local band to us down here in Somerset. But yeah, you do get the kind of the background noise, I suppose, of other people putting in their opinions and offering what they feel is good advice, but probably in that moment it was quite difficult for us. But Lewis and I are very fortunate that we've got family that are they're just, you know, very laid back and just crack on. If that's what you want, go for it. So yeah, we just were quite firm with our decisions.
I suppose it's about taking like, what's the most important thing for you at the wedding, and then that's where you make your investments to, or that's where you put your money. Like, and so for us, it was about having the band that was important. It was about having the people there that we wanted. So, you know, we made sure that we had a right amount of guests, and then it was about the band as well, wasn't it? So making sure we put the money in the right place.
It's an interesting point, because actually, whether you go for a DJ or a wedding band, they're pretty much there for a third of your day, if not longer. So it's a really important thing, I think, other than photography and videography. If you go for a videographer or content creator, actually the next biggest investment probably is in your evening entertainment, right? Because that can kill or make an
Yeah.
evening.
Yeah.
Do you feel?
Yeah.
And like the venue is really important, but ultimately when you think about it, it's about being in one place with all the people you love.
Yeah.
And you could do that anywhere.
Yeah.
It just so happens to be that we had this really nice venue we could do it at as well.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's just something to think about.
Yeah. And we loved our band, didn't we? And we also, we had some music beforehand as well, but I feel like the band was just like a added element for us, because literally everyone was up dancing, having a great time, and the band were like getting people involved as well, which was really nice. So yeah, we kind of focused our energy on the things that were really important for us, which were those things.
Jessie and Jay almost had like a carbon copy, didn't they?
Yeah, because they
Same
had
band.
Levi and the Bean as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's
It's
the
a
good
nice
thing
thing,
about
though.
going later with your wedding, is you can take like the good bits that you find from other people's weddings and make it, special to yourself. So yeah.
It's interesting. And so you had a musician, right? You had a guitarist.
Yeah.
And then you had Levi and Bean, who also do DJing as well. So that's quite important to obviously understand as a couple planning potentially, is that what if you do go for a live band, what do they do when they're not doing their set? And again, maybe thinking about if they are DJing, like, is it a good, do they do a good job? I don't know, it's hard.
Good music as well.
Yeah.
Because we gave them a couple of songs that we really wanted on the DJ set, and they did that, and they also shared their music with us, what they were going to be playing. But what was quite cool was we didn't know, but some of the songs that we'd asked to be on the DJ set, they actually played live, which was really cool, wasn't it? But yeah, we did check that first. We asked them what their playlist was and all of that kind of stuff, and they were really flexible if we wanted to add or take things out.
I do love a live band. I've come home from last night's wedding with a bit of a raspy voice as well. And that was just from a DJ, but he was playing all the songs I love, like Alien Ant Farm and Blink-182, all those kind of things. And I'm just like, then I'm listening to it in the car on the way home too, because I'm just like, here it goes again. It's just I love the speeches on a wedding day, but I also love like the evening entertainment. I think it's probably one of my funnest parts, just to have a bit of a sing along.
Yeah,
it's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Nisha and Jack's wedding, because the only photos I've got of them pretty much are of on the dance floor.
They love a dance floor.
So
they do.
When it comes to their wedding, it's going to be fun to try and get some different photos of them. Oh,
yes, cool. Definitely.
Another question I was going to ask, and it's a good one to maybe finish up with, really, is what's the one moment you'll remember forever from your wedding day? Or one moment? It's hard to pin it down, isn't it?
For me, walking into the church.
Oh, really?
And that's seeing everybody, and then Lewis at the end of the aisle, and my dad like shaking and crying at the same time. That would be mine.
That's cool. Lewis?
Yeah, mine, I hate to be like cliche or whatever, but obviously just seeing Terry walking down the aisle. When I first turned around, I got my brother to tap me when she was at the place where, when she was straight down the aisle. And probably that moment. Closely followed by then giving my mum a hug right at the front, because I think that made everyone.
That was very emotional.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah.
You got given a tea set, didn't you?
In the
church?
Yeah.
It's actually a really cool little touch, because she didn't know this, the Reverend, but we are like avid tea drinkers. So that was right up our street.
You still use it?
Well, we've got it somewhere special. Yeah.
Is there anything that you've kept from your wedding day at all? Like, I know a lot of people like preserve flowers and stuff. Have you managed to keep anything?
Yeah, it's on the wall.
Yeah, my bouquet.
Is
so
it?
my nan gave us some money, bless her, towards our wedding, and she loves her flowers, so we thought that'd be a really nice keepsake. So we sent my bouquet off the day after our wedding, and she preserved it. It took about 10 weeks for her to do it, but it's really lovely. I think we kept like mementos as everything. We've obviously got the Polaroids that you did for us as well, which are really special. Lewis has got his on the back of his phone, actually.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think we kept a bit of everything.
Yeah.
So with the flowers then, have you got it like in resin or is it like dried?
Yes,
pressed?
it's in resin, and then it's in a big
Oh,
like
that's amazing.
frame on the wall.
Do you know what? I saw that recently and I was like, that is a great idea. So our flowers got turned into paperweights, basically. Same thing, resin, but like in a ball. So we then were able to gift one to my mum, one to
that's
my
so
mother-in-law,
nice.
and then one to my... Because funny enough, because obviously your wedding day was done on grandparents' birthday, you said? So that's the same with ours. It was my nan's birthday on our wedding day. So we then gave her a paperweight too with our bouquet. So yeah, there's different ways of doing
nice.
things, isn't there? A lot of people don't even think about that when it comes to after the wedding. Like, is there anything that you can actually keep? Some people just like don't even really think about it, but it's quite nice, I feel. And flowers play a big part in how I edit your photos, but actually it's like you spend so much money on these things. And actually you can do something with them afterwards.
Yeah,
cool.
Definitely. We did the same.
We gifted our flowers. So the table arrangements that we had, we gifted them to people that had played a big part in our special day. So for example, Maya, who had played the piano in the church, we gave her one of the table settings, and mums, obviously, nans. So yeah, that was quite nice as well to be able to do that.
Confetti is a big part of the day I love doing. Would you have done anything different with your confetti? More? Less?
I probably would have had
different?
more. I would have maybe had a mixture of some paper ones as well as the petals.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more.
We were quite lucky that we could do the thing where we came out and walked back in the church from the side, so we could come back out, so we don't have to walk back against everyone. And it was around that time, wasn't it, at the church, that they don't allow... Was there something that... I can't remember, sorry.
So
there was
most of the time
something
you
around...
need biodegradable stuff.
Yeah.
But it's what type as well.
Yeah. And actually confetti wasn't something that I thought about in terms of like photographs, but now like I've seen other photographs that you've taken where there's been different types of confetti, and I think actually that would have been quite nice maybe to have a mixture of both.
Yeah, so you had dried petals, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to know when you're planning, like what to actually go for. Some people, like last night's, for example, was really meaningful because unfortunately their mother had passed away, a bride's mother had passed away. And so they'd used the flowers, the flowers from the funeral as their confetti. So it was really which is really meaningful for that bride and the family. And because it had rained all day, we're like, well, we need to use them at some point. And it just calmed down a little bit. We're like, right, we're going outside, even though it was pitch black. Even though it was pitch black, it just meant so much to that couple. But yeah, it's just one area I feel like couples don't really think about. They just go, oh, we're going to do lavender or something like that. But you throw lavender and it literally goes boom like that. And you can't see it in the photos. So it just looks like you're walking through a line of people.
Yeah.
Or a semicircle if you do it differently. But yeah, it's just one of those things I feel like some couples don't think about too much. But so you'd go more then?
I would have probably banned Jay from standing in the line. But maybe just like stood him over to the side so he couldn't throw it directly in my face. But
and that's after me telling them to throw it up in the air.
Yeah.
Probably because it's probably like because his mind's probably a bit like a toddler. You tell him to do something, you tell him not to do something, and then he'll do the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, it's something I always say, like, make sure, and it's always towards the groom. I'm like, as much as you want to throw confetti in the groom's face, don't.
Please don't.
But you did. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for both coming on. Obviously, first couple on the show. Take two though, so apologies for that.
It's okay.
But it's been amazing. Hopefully, a couples listening to this have got something useful out of it. We've got more couples coming on the show, and it's really interesting to have couples on the show to be able to give their perspective of their wedding day, whether there's things that have gone wrong, or in your case, nothing went wrong. Or, you know, is there things that they could take away and maybe put into their own wedding plans? So it's really useful to have you guys on and for future couples on the show to come on too. So yeah, thanks very much. And your dog did make an appearance.
Yeah, sorry about the barking.
That'll be prime content. So thank you very much. It's getting clipped. But yeah, thank you very much for both coming on. And you guys obviously got your anniversary coming up, so that's cool. So enjoy that.
Thank you.
Hopefully I remember to do my anniversary story. But yeah, you guys got any other plans other than that? Any big holidays or any other big plans maybe coming?
We're going skiing.
Yeah.
No babies.
No babies.
No, maybe one day, but not. We're going skiing, so we've got that to look forward to.
That's cool.
This is our baby.
Yeah,
for
fur
now.
baby.
Yeah,
But no,
honestly,
thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us on, mate. Really,
No worries.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Back to kids. I'd say wait as long as possible.
That's what everyone says.
Yeah, no, appreciate it, and make sure you have a great day, and obviously I'll see you in September.
Yeah, see you there. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, man. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Bye.
So that was amazing. Thank you so much to Tilly and Lewis for coming on the show. We do have more couples coming on the show and more suppliers coming on. And as I mentioned, take 2 on this episode, that I did make a mistake in my scheduling, that we were supposed to be having Liana Biggs on next, but she will now be on next week following this episode with Tilly and Lewis. So thank you again to you both for coming on, and also bringing your dog on, which would be great for you dog lovers out there. If you're a cat lover, then I do have a hairstylist coming on one day who is a very big cat lady, so that'll be for you. But yeah, thank you very much to Tilly and Lewis, and again, Liana Biggs will be on next week, makeup artist and hairstylist, so big one for you, brides especially, grooms less so much. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. If you have enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a review or a comment. Give this podcast a follow, because it's one of those platforms, especially on Spotify, that a lot of people don't know about. So make sure you drop a follow, which will help this channel, and podcasts go a long way. And if you are watching on YouTube as well, drop a like. Just press the subscribe button, basically. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next one.